First they came for the immigrants, and we said nothing. Then they came for our health care, and we said nothing. Then they came for our guns, and we said nothing. But then they came for our video games, and Buster, you fuck with the wrong group of completely self-absorbed losers with nothing but time on their hands and an endless supply of hormonal rage. You can take my games away when you pry them from my cold, no wait, warm, clammy hands.
Here we go!
Peggy 18.
The U.S. government coming after video games is nothing new. In fact, it's not even something that's unique to video games. They're merely a stepping stone on the path to puritanicalism, which puts a target on their back after rock and roll, disco, metal, television, movies, or literally any other entertainment medium that's existed since kids stopped working in factories from the age of 8, and instead were treated to some semblance of freedom before having to sign up and go fight in whatever actual real-life war was happening at the time. You get like 7 years of fun, and then you go shoot Hitler in the face.
Now, back in the 1990s, it was games like Doom and Mortal Kombat which initially caught the attention of the U.S. government because of their over-the-top graphic violence. I mean, could you rip your fucking face off, expose your bony skull, then breathe fire all over your opponent, thereby turning them into a skeleton that would eventually turn to dust? Sure. Could you grab another man's head and rip his entire spinal column out and show it to the person playing?
Sure.
Could you uppercut someone off of a giant bridge and watch as they fall hundreds of feet to the spikes below?
Sure.
Also, holy fuck, Mortal Kombat was awesome.
Yeah. Back when this was the hot button issue for a government that apparently had nothing better to do than to worry if anyone would ever think of the children, they held congressional hearings which would eventually inspire the creation of the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB. Or the reason you see Rated T for Teen or Rated M for Mature on every fucking game you buy. Unless you live over there, then you get Peggy 18. Yeah, much like the explicit content warnings that were, at the time, recently made mandatory on music, these ratings acted more as a seal of awesome than something that was meant to give you pause while considering the purchase.
This album
I don't know, I'm not mature enough for this game.
What are the explicit lyrics? Sign me up. I don't care what the music sounds like, he's gonna say the fuck word. The topic of video game violence and how its alleged effects on all your young, tender minds continue to pop up over the years, usually when something horrific like a shooting would happen, or when a video game would rise to a level of national consciousness where parents and lawmakers were made aware of its existence. Back in 1997, an anti-video game activist and attorney named Jack Thompson filed a lawsuit on behalf of parents whose children were killed in a high school shooting because during investigations it was shown that the perpetrator played games like Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, and Resident Evil. The suit was filed, but it was dismissed because it, quote, failed to present a legally recognizable claim. And by the way, that attorney was actually permanently disbarred for practicing law because of inappropriate conduct, which is ironic.
Probably playing those Leisure Suit Larry games.
Yup. Larry Laffer. Just trying to get laid.
As you could safely assume, Grand Theft Auto hit shelves in the late 90s and has since released new games every couple of years since, and has become one of the biggest video game franchises of all time. People were fucking furious when this game came out, and they finally saw it for reasons we're sure you're already aware of.
Yeah.
But let's get down to the details here. Yes, some games are violent as hell, just like some movies are violent as hell. But do these violent games actually have an effect on people that could or would turn them into a violent person? At this point, it's pretty damn unanimous in the scientific community that no, this isn't true. They've been doing tests on this stuff for decades now.
Yeah. There are countless studies from numerous sources that have been conducted over the years, and even the ones who decided to label video games as a precursor to potentially violent behavior had little to no conclusive proof or had already been refuted by other studies and experts. Take, for example, one of the biggest claims here in the States. It came from a study that led up to a 2005 policy statement released by the American Psychological Association, which claimed that their research had consistently found that violent video games influence various outcomes like aggressive thoughts and behavior and angry feelings. Years later, a statement signed by over 200 scholars from fields consisting of psychology, communications, and criminology urged the committee to repeal the claims that it made in that document.
Whoops. In a post made following the release of their signed statement, they clarified the statement in broader terms, saying that the reason the APA's policy statement should be repealed is simple. The evidence is mixed. There's a lot of cleverly designed research exploring potential effects of video games on laboratory outcomes, such as whether a person completes an unfinished story with an aggressive ending, or how much hot sauce a subject chooses to give a stranger to eat. That is only abstractly related to truly antisocial aggression. There are also large-scale surveys examining correlations between respondents' game use and their reports of delinquency and misbehavior. Some studies find such relationships, some do not. Over the years, the latter have become more common in the growing body of research. Most relevant to social concerns, little or no evidence exists to show that violent video games can be identified as a unique contributor to serious violent crime.
And in that statement, they also mentioned something that's pretty obvious. During the video game epic, youth violence in the United States and elsewhere has plummeted to 40-year lows, not risen, as would have been expected if the 2005 APA resolution were accurate. Although we do not assert video games are responsible for this decline, such would be an ecological fallacy, this decline in societal violence is in conflict with claims that violent video games and interactive media are important public health concerns. The statistical data are simply not bearing out this concern and should not be ignored.
And sure, it's a little self-serving, obviously, but even the Entertainment Software Association keeps a page with essential facts about video games and violence that reiterates a lot of what we just said, but ends with the following. Numerous authorities, including the U.S. Supreme Court, U.S. Surgeon General, Federal Trade Commission, and Federal Communications Commission have examined the scientific record and found that it does not establish any causal link between violent programming and violent behavior. The truth is, there is no scientific research that validates a link between computer and video games and violence, despite lots of overheated rhetoric from the industry's distractors. Instead, a host of respected researchers has concluded that there is no link between media violence and violent crime. So yeah, it should go without saying that there are other countries that love video games as much as we do,
Or more.
but don't share anywhere close to the amount of violent crimes that we as a country do.
Whoops.
It's like there's other variables here.
Yes. So anyways, now that we've explained that this has been going on for years and years and years, and that numerous official studies haven't found a link at all, what the hell is going on now, and why is this in the news again? Well, it's Trump. And yeah, we know. We're as tired of talking about Trump as you are of hearing about him. But since he's, well, you know, the President of the United States, we kind of have to acknowledge and try to understand what he's doing and what his motivations are.
No matter how futile that might be.
Yeah.
In the wake of the Parkland High School shooting down in Florida, Trump was quick to blame pretty much anything he could, except guns, for what happened in this tragedy.
It's the virtual guns. We've got to regulate these virtual guns.
Obviously, video games are an easy punching bag. Hell, before he was even running for president, he had some strong words about gaming, saying back in 2012 that video game violence and glorification must be stopped. It is creating monsters. His most recent stance, which also grouped movies into the conversation, was uttered during a meeting on school safety around 2 weeks ago, where he said, "I'm hearing more and more people say the levels of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts."
People are saying it, so it must be true. You know what we got to do is regulate and then ban high-capacity magazines and video games. It's making them too easy.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like,
KD's too high.
yeah, there you go.
Extended mag, come on.
Get out of
Call
here.
of Duty.
Yeah.
What about quick draw mags?
I don't know. Maybe something we have to regulate.
Extended quick draw mags? 2 OP, please nerf.
Yeah. And they're coming out of loot boxes now. The whole thing's a mess. We need to regulate the virtual gun
I
market.
mean, one person with a Vector in PUBG, you can do a lot of damage, but a Vector with the extended quick draw mag?
It like doubles the capacity.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And people are just finding these in abandoned houses.
Yeah. Who's leaving the ammo all over the place?
Needs to be regulated. Anyways, on March 1st, during a White House press briefing with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she announced that President Trump was, quote, scheduled to meet with members of the video game industry to discuss violence in games. Well, this took the gaming industry by surprise because the ESA, which is made up of top video game publishers and their executive teams, responded to this announcement by saying, ESA and our member companies have not received an invitation to meet with President Trump. They had no idea this was going to be happening.
Oops.
The story was then updated 1 day later, despite the initial statement, of course, saying that there was a meeting already scheduled, to say that invitations will be going out soon. Maybe they jumped the gun.
Well, the invitations, they went out, and they are meeting about this very important issue on Thursday. The ESA released a statement after they were finally contacted by the White House, which reads, "Video games are enjoyed around the world, and numerous authorities and reputable scientific studies have found no connection between games and real-life violence. Like all Americans, we're deeply concerned about the level of gun violence in the United States. Video games are plainly not the issue. Entertainment is distributed and consumed globally, but the U.S. has an exponentially higher level of gun violence than any other nation. The upcoming meeting at the White House, which ESA will attend, will provide the opportunity to have a fact-based conversation about video game ratings, our industry's commitment to parents, and the tools we provide to make informed entertainment decisions." So, what do you think will happen on Thursday? And are you just as positive as we are that absolutely nothing will come of it, and it will primarily just be the ESA showing Trump a dumbed-down version of their studies, complete with illustrations and maybe an attempt to inform him and his team there's already a rating system in place for video games and movies?
Yeah.
Or will you just be playing Fortnite instead? Because thanks to its rapid growth and adoption by fans of all ages, it is now in the crosshairs of the mainstream, or as I like to call them, lamestream media.
Yeah. Them and their bubbles, aka newsrooms. Our newsroom is a vast, cavernous cave.
Okay.
Woo! No bubble here, or else the audio would be a lot better.
You hear that?
That's a cave, baby.
Cave.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, important gaming news. What else? Diablo 3 might be coming out for the Switch because they released a weird video where someone switches a Diablo light on and off. You get it? Switch. Outlets are now confirming that it's going to happen, but Blizzard denying it. So, the Shanghai Dragons, aka the only team in the Overwatch League who has yet to win a game, finally fired their coach.
Oh.
That's news. There's also going to be a warning on games that include in-game purchases, and it's going to say that this game includes in-game purchases. There's your big news update for video games.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait, there's more because Battlefield.
Yes.
Back in the news.
Oh, good. So there was a ton of new info regarding the next Battlefield that leaked this week. So let's give you a quick rundown of those leaks. Its current working title is Battlefield V.
5.
I see a V.
Vagina.
But that'll probably change to Battlefield 2 or something because names don't matter anymore, numbers don't matter anymore. They're making the sequel to Battlefield 1 the same way the world made a sequel to World War 1. They're doing World War 2. Yep,
Yeah.
we know that COD already did that, but these games are so different that this news is actually kind of exciting simply because of the scale of the Battlefield games and what you can do in them versus the limitations of a straightforward arcade shooter like COD.
Well, none of these games are coming out because they're too violent, so...
That's right. That's right, ban them.
I'm tired of... Well, we gotta put a stop to this Red Dead Redemption 2 before it comes out. It keeps glorifying the Old West.
You know, what if, like, the gaming industry, they show Trump a bunch of games, non-violent ones. They should show Trump Civilization 6.
Yeah.
Where you can... There's no term limits in Civilization 6. You rule one land from prehistory into the late 2000s. And, you know, there's no tariffs.
Much like that other lawyer, I feel like Trump would enjoy Leisure Suit Larry a lot more. What do you mean I died from fucking the prostitute without a condom? Ken sent me. Anyways, the other leaks include the fact that there will be a co-op mode that could run players through randomly generated conquest missions, and that you'll be able to. This is a new feature. You'll be able to go prone on your back, which
What?
apparently is you can do that in Rainbow Six, right?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Back prone. Oh, and by the way, since it's EA, there's gonna be loot boxes, baby.
Woo!
But they swear that these items will only be cosmetic, and they won't affect the gameplay. And they pinky swear that.
Oh.
What about swastikas?
Boom! What could possibly, aside from like gold guns and stuff, could they put in?
Swastikas.
Yeah, the cosmetic
The
item.
armband. You get the armband in the
Yeah.
loot box.
What was it? Hugo Boss made the outfits, right?
Very, very, very...
Stylish.
Yeah. Can't wait for all these cool cosmetic items in World War II. You get a like a pinup photo from your best gal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You look at.
team to turn colors.
When you're dying in battle, waiting for the medic to come revive you, you pull out your hot photo of your topless girlfriend.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You get to look at that for a little while.
Smoke up one of your pack of Marlboros that family
yeah. You buy cigarettes and stuff in the game.
Yeah.
It's great. Morphine. Give me the morphine.
Well, let's bring our friend in here who would never swear because his life is a Christian server. A man who is noble, loyal, and above all else, ethical. Shibby, what are you reviewing this week?
Tugs boys and Tugs girls, this week I'm reviewing a game in which somehow is worse than the 2015 release. The original 2015 release being the worst modern PC game I have ever played in my lifetime. The bar was set high, especially for a giraffe that can look this damn good. Yeah. A game in which the loot and reward system would have been better if you had taken a shit into 3 separate brown paper bags, tossed those bags in the air, and see which one lands on your face. Of course, I'm talking about the sequel to the worst modern PC game of all time that I've ever played, Warhammer Vermintide 2. A game in which is a stain on the heroic Warhammer franchise. A game in which fails to live up to the excitement of the original Left 4 Dead series style gameplay because in Vermintide, a primarily first-person melee-focused combat system mindlessly killing rats is super enjoyable gameplay to grind out. Right? Wrong. Wait, I know how to make these gameplay mechanics even more lit for the kids. You know, Shibby, when you're in a Minecraft multiplayer lobby waiting for the game to start and there's all those jumping block puzzles? Well, yes, viewer, I'm quite well versed as I'm a Minecraft PvP god. Well, Shibby, let's add those jumping puzzles to a grungy war-ravaged scenario. Oh, and make it team-based for even more jumping puzzle fun. Look, I had enough of jump puzzle bullshit from Guild Wars 2 and the Destiny raids. Enough is enough, especially in a first-person co-op game like this, where my character's a little dwarf, or small person, where our character's asses are constantly in my face. It's unpleasant, as well as it smells foul. If uninteresting gameplay mechanics like jumping puzzles are not enough for you, there are only 5 classes in the game to play, with even more grindy and pointless progression systems in which you're always chasing a pointless carrot. Oh, well, all that and melee-focused gameplay killing rats over and over isn't enough to turn you away, viewer? It's not enough? Well, the developers of the game have a little surprise for you. Yes, you criminals out there. The devs, they played themselves. They thought it'd be a brilliant idea to add spyware called Easy Anti-Cheat into the game 3 days before the official launch. Yep, software that punishes legitimate players with crashes and poor performance, yet very minor hassle for actual cheaters. Really, a great and well-implemented system. A game in which does not punish griefers or people who quit out of your match, which completely fuck you over. Ever try to complete a Left 4 Dead mission when your 3 other team members leave, or purposely train mobs to grief? It's not gonna happen or go well. Overall, this game, sure, it's good looking, but at the end of the day, it's left mouse, right mouse, button, melee masher, killing uninspired enemies till you fall out of your chair. The fact that developers thought it was a good idea to implement a busted anti-cheat days before launch tells you enough to do noi bai. The Vermintide series continues to be the worst modern PC games I have ever played. 0 out of 10.
Okay, thanks, Shibby. That was pretty good, I guess. But let's move on to our Amazon review for the week. We dug through the old time capsule and found a review for a completely deplorable game. That game, Grand Theft Auto 3. And this one comes from all the way back in 2002.
Oh, fuck.
A simpler time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this review comes from Amazon user James Marsh, who titled their review, Sick. And not in the way that you're thinking, because sick, the term sick has changed in definitions over the years, you know? Yeah. So, here's the review.
I was very excited to try this game. The reality is that this game is sick. What kind of a reflection on our society is it that we produce a game which glorifies beating old people with bats, running over cops, and shooting cops? I'm not against violence per se, because we have all grown up playing cowboys and Indians, or cops and robbers, pretending to have guns and shooting each other. That has been going on since time immemorial, ever since it was Cave Dweller versus Bear.
Everybody remembers playing Cave Dweller versus Bear when they were young.
My favorite game. Many games involve shooting or death, but usually you are on some kind of quest to save the world. In this game, you are glorified for senseless acts of cruelty. I do not find this amusing or even funny. After playing for a few hours, I felt dirty, as though I were committing evil. If you pretend to commit crimes, that is not a good thing. 1 star. Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, he'd put in a couple hours. He was like, oh, maybe I can get over this after a while. But this review proves that video game violence doesn't desensitize you. Because he played for hours and was still upset.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. These the GTA games, since the beginning, have made it very easy to not beat old ladies to death with bats.
You make that choice.
that is never a part of the main quest line.
That is literally this guy going, I wonder if I could beat the shit out of this elderly woman with a baseball bat.
It's even possible, if you're skillful enough in the game, to never harm a police officer.
Yeah,
So-
or anyone that doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking this guy is trying to cover up.
He's
for
projecting.
Yeah, he's projecting. Yeah.
Just like in real life, I could beat an old woman.
The game's made me do it.
Anyways, we're going to be doing, to spin some positivity in here, we're going to be doing a charity stream next Friday, March 16th. We're going to be doing it on Twitch and on this channel. Hopefully they won't ban us this time. You know how YouTube hates charity. You take any money out of their tithing and they get real pissed.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, next Friday, March 16th. We'll have more details soon, but we're going to be playing lots of games and playing them for an extended period of time. And I think I chose the American Cancer Society to be the beneficiary of our charity stream, so make sure that you watch that next Friday. Also, follow us on Twitch. The ETC page is twitch.tv/ETC_show. I'm at twitch.tv/It's Ricky for the Win. Just search it.
Twitch.tv/ElliotETC.
And don't forget to watch our Monday morning live show where we ate Carolina Reaper jerky, and I still don't feel right.
Yeah, I think I'm okay now.
Okay, good.
But,
and don't forget, last week's episode of T.U.G.S was also a doozy. So we'll see you guys soon.
Ta-ta.